is now 7:33, and we are at the Twinsburg Government Center. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mr. Barr?
Yes, here. Sorry.
Mr. Fury? Mrs. Labby?
I said yes, too.
Here. Mrs. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Bonacci?
Here.
All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Bellin will lead us with the invocation and pledge allegiance.
We ask for guidance and direction in all city matters before us tonight. We give thanks to be able to be together. Let us continue to strive to make our community a better place. Help us to work together, and may we give our best always. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes of the regular council meeting from February 27th?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted from February 27, 2024.
All right.
Second.
All right, Mr. Bellin makes a motion. Ms. Walker seconds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Shannon, will you call the roll?
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes. All right, approval of minutes passes 6-0. All right, I believe, guessing we have a presentation here. Mr. Mayor Scafidi?
Yes, sir, we sure do. Well, you know, it's a pleasure for me to be able to stand up here and do the swearing in again. He's been our chief for a couple weeks now, or maybe at least a week, and we're going to seal the deal tonight. And nothing gives me more pleasure than to be able to pick somebody out of that's one of our own homegrown. He's our own resident. Steve's been around with us for about 30 years, 33 years in our department. He is the 6th chief that we've had here in the city of Twinsburg, and I'm proud to be the mayor that gets to stand up here and swear somebody of his caliber in. So, if you're ready to seal the deal, I see you brought a couple of your friends. So, come on up.
I'm going to acknowledge some family here, if that's okay.
Absolutely, go ahead.
My mom's here, my sister, my brother Dave, sister Marianne, her husband Rick, my brother Matt, my in-laws. I got Sandy and Rick Lauren, my sister-in-law Tracy, Mike, her husband, and we have Jess and Gabe back there. And then my stepson, Tyler, and his fiancee Josette. I have to go to the cue card for this because we have people and family that are watching on YouTube. So thank you, Christopher, Mark, for hooking that up. My brother up in Boston and his wife, Marsha, Chris, and Marsha. And then we have Jen, Pam's sister, my sister-in-law Jen, her husband Shane, and their kids Grayson, Carter, Addison, and Ryder. And then down in Columbus, Pam's sister Megan, her husband Whitney, and then the girls Amelia and Marley. And then I have some dear friends, colleagues from around the United States, my Master PIO colleagues. It's Derek, Matt, Rita, Crystal, Michelle, Rachel, and Jean. So just a few people.
You did all that without these.
I did. Well, I got contacts.
Yeah. All right. Come on over. You got to get close to the mic. Raise your right hand. I, Stephen Basso,
I, Stephen Basso,
do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
Constitution and laws
Constitution and laws
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
the Charter, ordinances, and resolutions
Charter, ordinances, and resolutions
of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio,
of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio,
and I will faithfully,
and will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as the chief
as the chief
of the Twinsburg Fire
of
Department
the Twinsburg Fire Department
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
as I shall answer to God.
as I shall answer to God.
Chief, congratulations.
My grandkids are going to tell me. I forgot to mention my son Jeremy and daughter-in-law Leslie. So, wow. Sorry, I didn't have to write them down, but they're right here. So, my daughter,
Maybe you did need my class.
my granddaughter Hannah in the band.
Oh, so sweet.
Again?
Just a few few words so we can clear the fire code violation we clearly have going here. But I thank the mayor for your support.
Over here.
I see you and council. Thank you for your years of support. And I'm no stranger to council chambers. You've been through my presentations. I thank the directors before, and I want to thank them again. Tammy, our HR director, Matt, our law director, and Christina, our finance director, for support and guidance along the way. Our amazing department heads. We work well together. We are a family. Other people I want to thank, some retired members of the fire department that came here. Chief Martin from Cuyahoga Falls, thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming in. Let's see. All the people in green, our certain members, that was a surprise. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm proud to stand up here, proud to be the chief of this organization. We have a long history, a lot of tradition, but we're very progressive too, so I'm excited. We've got a lot of exciting projects to work on this year. We're excited to go. And when I got sworn in, I said, this moment of time isn't lost on me, but it is a moment in time. Tomorrow morning, won't have all this fancy stuff on. We'll get right to work. But I appreciate everybody coming in. Probably forgetting somebody here. I know our chaplain, Dan Smith, is here. Thank you for coming, Dan. It's over there. Thank you. And our members. Don't want to forget our public safety family members across the parking lot, like we call them, police and dispatch. We couldn't do the job without you. Thank you to the dispatch center for getting us where we're supposed to be going, getting us the information, and for the police department for always having our backs. It doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you. To all our members here, I see you working. I always tell you I see you working, and to our community, this is a great group of ladies and gentlemen that run this department. They are the most professional that people you want coming to your home. I live in town. I want them coming to my home, taking care of me, and I know that they are putting everything on the line when they come to your home. So thank you again for coming out, and it means a lot to me, and thank you, Mayor. Looking forward to many years.
Absolutely. So I know you all want to stick around the whole night. But if you don't want to, we can take 5 minutes for all of you to say congratulations and clear out, and take 5 minutes. We'll start up at 7:46, 5 minutes from right now.
Congrats, Chief. Absolutely.
Congratulations, Steve. Congratulations. Shannon, do we have any audience participation?
We do. We have one. Jonah Pachette.
Dressed up for the speech.
Dressed up just for this.
Looking good, sir.
Looking
Good,
good.
buddy.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Jonah.
Hey, good to see you guys. Jonah Pichette, 11146 Heritage Drive. Just want to give you guys a quick update on the Environmental Commission meeting, which took place March 5th of this month. All in all, a very productive discussion. We really kind of nailed down some dates for some upcoming events. We have our Earth Day event, April 20th, 2024, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Liberty Park Nature Center. We had a discussion with Cindy Kurt, who runs the environmental club at the high school, partnered with her officially on the commission's behalf. And we're excited to have some events from the Environmental Commission students at this Earth Day event. Some scavenger hunt event. There will be a invasive or not event, a recycle this or that event. They really run the bulk of the programming for that day. So I'm very excited to kind of have them there, and I'm very glad the commission chose to continue that partnership. In addition to that, we have the Shred Day event. It's still tentatively scheduled for sometime in June. I don't think the date has been, nailed down just yet.
Jonah, I have June 8th. Is that
June 8th?
not right?
I don't know if that's when it's scheduled for. I may be wrong, but
I'm seeing a no.
I believe that date was taken. The company wasn't able to do that date. I think that they're tentatively looking at the 1st.
so
My understanding.
tentatively the 1st.
Okay.
And so I just had June written down in my little notes that I scribbled together before coming here. And so I had June 1st, it sounds like. Waste management, our recycling center tour. We planned that, the new one in Oakwood. April 19th at 2 p.m. we'll be touring that new Oakwood recycling plant. Unfortunately, I'll be unable to attend, but most of the commission will be able to make it, so I'll be excited to hear their report and, what they have to say on that.
Jonah, what date was that? April 10th?
That is April 19th
April
at 2
19th?
p.m., yes.
What day of the week? Do you know what day of the week?
That is I do not know off the top of my head. Is it a Thursday? Seems like a Thursday.
Okay.
I know
That's a Friday.
that is a Friday. I know I'm at work.
And that's
so-
at 2 o'clock?
At 2 o'clock.
Okay. Just going to see if I was available. I wanted to join.
And so, yes, that's the Waste Management Recycling Center in Oakwood.
I'll make it.
And then we also, our wastewater treatment plant tour, our annual tour of the wastewater treatment plant, that is scheduled for August 7th at 9 a.m. I know that worked for a majority of the commission. I'm excited to kind of take that tour again. It was really eye-opening the last time I took it. We have some new commissioners who weren't able to attend last time who look forward to attending this time, so I'm excited to see that. Again, that's August 7th, 9 a.m. We'll be touring the wastewater treatment plant. And that's kind of it for our tour dates. We then discussed the plastic bag ban, had some productive conversation on it, and that's continuing onwards. We'll continue that next meeting. And then we really had kind of one final thing, on my little report. We're going to have a park cleanup. Not that Twinsburg is dirty or its parks are overflowing with garbage, but we thought it'd be a nice way for us to get out in the community as a commission. And so we're going to have kind of a park cleanup, really just kind of an informal get-together. But anybody's welcome to kind of show up. It's more so really a hike that we'll clean up anything we see if there is anything. The first one is going to be March 23rd at 11 a.m. at the Center Valley Park on the Idlewood parking lot. And so Center Valley Park, the Idlewood parking lot, March 23rd, 11 a.m. I'll be there, and I told the commission, I look forward to seeing if anybody else shows up, but that's where I'll be at that time. So that is kind of what we're doing in that regard. And that's all I've got. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, are you making sure that all those dates are plastered everywhere on the websites, on everywhere that you can think of?
Yes, I reached out to Pat, or I think last hour I sent him an email, making sure we have some of these dates on my Twinsburg, Together Twinsburg, all of that. And then our social media, we're going to make sure they're put out in the community through, the community social medias, various Facebook pages, all of that, to really make sure these dates are pushed out.
That's
Some
awesome.
of these are just internal commission and/or council matters, the tour. Nate can only accommodate so many people. I'd love to have the whole city come, but I don't think he can accommodate 20,000 people.
Good luck with that.
Same with the Waste Management Recycling Center tour. I don't think that's something open to the public. And so those dates, we don't really have to worry about publicizing. It's more the Shred Day and the Earth Day event coming up. But yes, we're going to make sure those are publicized.
That's awesome. You are doing an awesome job.
I
Really.
try.
You really are.
We did invite Mitch, who did the presentation or proposal for the bags, to participate in the Earth Day if he would like to educate people. And then Ms. Kurt from the high school actually offered, was it 100
It was a couple hundred, I believe,
recycled
yes.
bags from Target that she has in her inventory? So we're hoping that he'll be able to join. He is a student in Aurora. They do have a program that day. But since he was in the crowd again, and, he's so passionate about it, we did ask him to participate. So-
Yes, I forgot about that. Thank you very
Yeah, no,
much.
it's great. Good stuff. You took my whole report.
I am so sorry. Yeah, I should have saved you something.
No. I appreciate you. This is wonderful that you do this.
Hi. I just want to tell you that I did receive a call from a resident, and she lives on Chamberlain Road, and she wants to do a cleanup
Okay.
shortly, March, early April. So can I give her some information from you if you want to be a part? I told her that I would probably
Absolutely.
work with her. So at the end of council, I'll just get the information and I'll call her back and let her know to talk to
Absolutely.
you about that.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Okay, thank you.
And then one other thing, when you do that parks cleanup, maybe reach out to the Parks and Rec Commission, Parks and Rec group.
Yes.
And see, maybe make it a joint venture. I don't know if you guys have done that or not.
No, we did not. That flew right over our heads. That's a
But
great idea.
maybe get the information from Shannon and, maybe make it a joint venture.
That would be a great idea.
So, okay.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Jonah.
Thanks, Jonah.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
Jonah?
Shannon, is there anyone else?
That's all we have this evening.
All right, excellent, thank you. All right, moving on to council communication and committee reports. We'll start at the end with Mr. Barr and work our way right down the line.
Good evening, Mr. Post. Thank you. Since our last meeting, none of my committees have met. The next meeting of the Planning Commission is scheduled here in council chambers this coming Monday, which is March 18th at 7 p.m. There are a couple items on the agenda since our last meeting was canceled due to some, the applicant needed to go back and resubmit a couple of things. So it should be, should get some ground covered on Monday and have a report at the next council meeting. That's all I have, sir.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bonacci.
Congratulations to Chief Basso. I love his passion for our city and fire service. I got to witness it on my tour last month and got to see it again today, and it's amazing. We're blessed to have a leader of his caliber in our community. I attended yesterday's Jedi Commission meeting and look forward to hearing Karen's report. Today's Safety Committee meeting was canceled due to lack of agenda items. That next meeting is scheduled May 14th. Since our last meeting, none of my other boards or committees have met. The next scheduled BZA meeting is for Wednesday, April 24th. On Saturday, May 2nd, Mr. Post, I attended, traveled to Columbus and went to the Ohio Municipal League's seminar for new council members. And it was a jam-packed agenda. It was awesome. They have other sessions coming up in Cleveland, I think this weekend, included things like home rule, finance, economic development. But I'll tell you what I enjoyed the most out of it was the ability to meet members of other city councils. Specifically, I got to eat lunch and chat with folks from Marysville, Sandusky, Cleveland Heights, and Pickerington. It was nice, as I'm new, to learn from others and share, and to hear what other communities are doing. And I'll tell you what, Twinsburg's on par with some of the best communities in the state. So that was a great opportunity, and I appreciate that I was able to go to that. Thank you. That's the end of my report.
Excellent, thank you, Ms. Walker.
Good evening, everyone. I didn't attend any of my meetings this week. I had something else to do, but Mrs. Labby is going to report on the Jedi for me.
Okay, excellent, thank you. I attended the ARB meeting last Thursday, and we just had two small agenda items. One was an addition on a house, and one was just swapping out a window and a door. So love to see all the development in the community, and that's a very short report for me, and that's all I really have. Thank you. Ms. Labby.
Thank you, good evening. Thank you, Jonah, for that efficient report, and never apologize for doing a report. You are a great leader, and I think that's exactly what we need in environmental, since Mr. Bonacci is no longer there. So look forward to seeing what you do. I'm very excited about all your park cleanup and your passion for environmental. The next meeting of the Environmental Commission is April 2nd at 7 o'clock. I attended the Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee meeting last evening for Councilwoman Walker. They discussed possible events for Juneteenth celebration in June, perhaps focusing more on an educational aspect, just to explain what the holiday really means. More discussion will be that when we get our new committee members next month. Emmanuel Agbovi, Jeffrey Tyrus, and Lavelle Payne, who is chairman extraordinaire. She's really holds a great meeting, were in attendance for their last meeting and expressed their good wishes for the new committee, and while saying they wouldn't be far for consulting. They also read a letter from Andrea Stone, who is also a community member for the past 4 years, with the same sentiments. These members who are retiring for their seat and turning over for the next generation, if you will, have been great assets to the committee. Their hard work and dedication is admirable, and we thank them for their time. The next meeting of the Jedi Committee is April 8th at 6 p.m. Twins Days is still accepting applications for seniors at Twinsburg High School apply for their 2 $500 scholarships by April 12th. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bellin.
Good evening. As Mr. Bonacci alluded to, the Safety Committee meeting scheduled for this evening was canceled due to lack of agenda items. Next meeting of the Safety Committee will be on Tuesday, May 14th, 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. We did have a Finance Committee meeting scheduled for Tuesday, March 26th. Unfortunately, we will not have a quorum of Finance Committee members on that evening, so the next Finance Committee meeting will be on April 23rd, 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. The next meeting of the Public Works will be on Tuesday, April 9th, 6 p.m. also here in Chambers. Work on the zoning code update continues. The working group is in the process of creating some videos. These videos are similar to what we did for the Charter Review Commission, if you recall back in the fall. Topics will include organization of the code, dimensional standards, R4 districts, downtown redevelopment, those kind of things. You should start to see those videos sometime in mid-April. For more information, visit togethertwinsburg.com. Nothing further this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bellin. Mayor Scafidi.
Thank you. Good evening. I want to start out with, I mentioned at the last meeting that I was going to be doing my first wedding here in City Hall, and we had that on the 29th of February. We had a couple come in at noon, and they had a small crowd with them, and a couple of the City Hall people attended, and I went off really nice. It was a nice afternoon for them, for Matt and Maureen's and Darsick. So again, I want to congratulate them. They're a local couple, and I'm sure they'll have a long, happy life together. Wilcox Reads. On the 4th of March, I went over to Wilcox Elementary School and read to the preschoolers. I read in 2 classes that morning, and what a morning that was. That's really a treat when you get to go there and read to these young people, and they're just, I thought preschoolers, oh, this isn't going to be easy. Not one of them's going to listen to me. I'll be reading to myself. They won't pay attention, but I'll tell you what, they all sat there, and they were all very tentative to me. They answered questions. They asked questions. So it was a really good morning. It turned out really well, and I think the best part really wasn't me or the book, but I usually bring treat bags with me when I go, and that's all they could wait for. They couldn't wait to get their treat bags. The teachers made them put them all away because that was going to ruin the rest of their morning. So it turned out very well, though, and they had to take them home for their parents. So I thank Wilcox for having me there, and I know that they've had a couple of other of our administrators there as well. I know the police chief was there, so it was a good time was had by all. The visits that we do on our businesses, I've been talking about that. Rebecca and I have been doing that for the last year or so, visiting our local businesses, just trying to get to know them, get to be, they know us, we know them, we get to know their successes and maybe even some of their challenges, and we just want to be there for them to let them know that we're here, the city's here, City Hall's here. They just didn't open a business somewhere and we forget about you. We haven't forgotten any of them. We appreciate each and every business in our community. So I just want to mention a couple of them that we visited in the last couple weeks. We went to Sifron. They're located up on Darrow Road. They are a recipient of our CRA and our TOP agreement. They're doing well with that. They've got 240 employees, and they specialize in visual presentation of merchandise to increase sales and prevent theft and spoilage. So what they really do there, I mean, there's a whole room that you can go in, and they've got it all set up like a grocery store section, a drugstore section, a freezer section, and they make all of the things that are in each one of these areas in the store. Like if you go into to the drugstore, you go to Giant Eagle and you try to buy a razor blade. They're all in a row, and you got to turn that knob and keep turning until the razor blade gets down and falls. They make those things there. It's amazing what we're learning, what they do right here in Twinsburg. In the freezer section or the produce section, they make all the bins that all the produce goes in. They make just a variety of things, even the little hang hangers that come out, and when they hang stuff on it, the socks are hanging on there or whatever. It's incredible what they do. And it's a huge company. It's bigger than you could even imagine. When you drive by it, it looks big. You go inside of there, it's gigantic. So they're doing very well, and it was nice to be able to sit with them and talk with them. They love showing us around. I tell everybody that all the time. They're proud of their business, and we're proud to have them here. So it's kind of a thank you, and we're here if you need us. The next one we visited was WRWP LLC, which is a Western Reserve Wire Products. They are also a recipient of our CRA program, and they're doing well on that. They're headquartered in Twinsburg at 1920 Case Park South. They're right here. They have 108 employees, and they're a lead manufacturer and supplier of wire harnesses and custom components. So again, we had a really nice sit down and talk with them, get to see what they do. They always bring out the things that they threw a wire harness out on the table, and so yeah, they're a good company. And again, it was nice to get to know them, and they get a face with the names, so we're not strangers to them. We want to be friends with them. Finally, today, as a matter of fact, we went to Thompson Electric, and I'm sure some of you have heard of Thompson Electric or Horvath Electric. Thompson and Horvath just merged, and so they're now called Thompson Electric. They're located up on Case Parkway. Nice facility there too, really nice facility. We got to meet everybody. We got to meet Mr. Horvath as well as the Thompson Group. Mr. Horvath will still be involved in the company. We have a top agreement with them too. So they're meeting all their numbers, and so they'll continue their top agreement. Of course, that's full-service electrical contractor, and they focus on industrial work as well. So they do a really great job. They're a nice, clean facility, and I can't say enough about the people that we've been able to meet and the relationships that we're forming with our local businesses. My goal there is to create account retention. Everybody's vying for new business. All the communities are trying to get new businesses in, and sometimes that's not as easy to do. So as much as we're doing that, and Rebecca's doing a great job of bringing new business in, because we do have some good quality companies and commercial coming into the city, but it's also, I think, more important that we retain who we already have here and let them know that they've made an investment in the city of Twinsburg. And again, we haven't forgotten about you. We're here. We want to help you. If there's anything we could do for you, please feel free to call on us. So the visits went really good. They went great. Finally, I want to just quickly read a news release. The Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada, also known as GFOA, has awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting to the City of Twinsburg for its annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022. The report has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, which includes demonstrating a constructive spin of full disclosure, to clearly communicate its financial story and motivate potential users and user groups to read the report. So, Christina, congratulations to you. I know that wasn't really your reporting year, but she's holding up that same standard, and there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be a recipient of that same award again, time and time again. So just so everybody feels comfortable, our finance department is doing really well, and she's going to carry the ball and make sure that if we can kick it up a notch, we'll kick it up a notch. So thank you for sharing this with me, and thank you to for what you're doing too, because as I always say, she's doing a great job. I appreciate her very much. That's it. That's all I've got. End of my report.
Department heads?
Yeah, department heads. We got Chief Mason.
Do you need the law department?
Good evening, Chief.
Evening. Evening, Council.
Evening.
So I'm here to report on February. Be a brief report, but for February, we had a total call count of 2,900. That brings us to 5,804 for the year. Some numbers of notes: we had 9 calls of theft. We had 7 incidents of possession of drugs or drug-related offenses, 5 for disorderly conduct, 3 counts of domestic violence, 23 for driving under suspension or without a valid license, and 13 for operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs. 6 warrant arrests, 1 charge of forgery, 2 counts of open container in a public place, 404 traffic stops, 115 resulted in written warnings. There was a total of 126 people were arrested or cited on a total count of 183 charges or arrest counts. Accident-wise, we had a total of 16 accidents. Proud to say all 16 were, happy to say all 16 were non-incident or no injury, no fatalities as well, and 2 were on private property. Just want to say how proud I am of the men and women of the department. They continue to maintain the standards that we put in place last year with traffic enforcement. They're doing everything they can. I've mentioned it before. I believe it was last month, the balance they're doing between the needs of the city and responding to calls, yet being proactive is just incredible. So I'm very proud of them for that. I just want to touch on what HR Director Kaleo mentioned as far as our laterals. This is the first time we've dipped our toes in that pool, if you will. It's something that's been going on for years and years. I believe I've spoken about it in the past. I'm glad we're finally able to have our opportunity at it. And for those of you who don't know what that is we do not in any way, shape, or form lower our standards. Our vetting process is still the same. What it does is it eliminates the initial test that was put in place. We work off an application process in which we're looking at people who are already commissioned officers and hold their current OPATA certification. The advantage is it helps get us officers in here, hopefully gets officers in the door sooner. We don't have to put them through the academy because, as you know, we're not averse to putting people through the academy. If they're the right fit for our department, we have put them through. That takes time. They're gone for months and months, then they get into their FTO program. With the lateral process, hopefully it'll allow us to get some people in the door who are already certified, get them into our FTO process quicker, results in getting officers on the streets quicker. So far, the response has been well. So keep you updated as that progresses. And as the mayor mentioned, I read at Wilcox Reed's Weeks as well. Read Doug the Dog. It was a good read. I recommend it. Big print. I didn't need my cheaters, and a lot of pictures. Kids enjoyed it. So that's all I have.
Every book should have pictures.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mayor Scafidi, any other department heads?
Yes, Christina.
Okay, thank you.
So the mayor stole a little bit of my thunder by announcing our award, but I just want to make a note that the city, this is not a relatively new award in the government financial section. However, this is a new award for the city. This is only the 3rd time the city has applied for it, and we've won it all 3 times. So that's a good note. So just 2 other things, just a little bit about income tax receipts, since I haven't touched on that since December. Our February net tax receipts were a little over $2 million. So far this year, we're at around a little over $4 million, which is 3% higher than 2023. So we're trending in the right direction. And then a very good item for the golf course. So I know during our budget discussions, one of the items was the contract with Aaron and Moses Restaurant, and the rentals of that portion, the banquet center. So this year was the first year where the rental for that section of the building was based off of gross sales. So I'm happy to report that our rent will be doubling based on their gross sales for 2024. So that is great news. That was one of the items within the budget process that was kind of, we didn't want to overestimate because we really didn't know how they were going to end up. But the mayor, Matt, and I had a meeting with some of their representatives last week, and they appear to be very happy where they're at. So I think that'll be a long-standing relationship. And they seem to be happy with where the numbers panned out as well. So that's it.
That's fabulous. Mayor, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry, I remiss that I didn't mention that, but thank you, Christina, for reminding me. Yeah, we met with them. We actually met with the owner of Brentwood, and he came out to see us. We met there at the facility, and it seems like it was really a positive meeting. I wasn't sure what I was getting into when we went there, but it seemed to be very positive. They're looking to the future. They're looking for 5 years down the road and beyond. is what he said.
That's great.
And so I think they're looking to make some adjustments or some changes there. I think that the relationship that we have with them is good. Between our golf course and their restaurant, I've made it very clear, our business is outside these windows, the golf course, but your business is here, and we have to be able to work together to make it work for both of us. And I think that, and we feed off of one another. And opening the golf course early this year, like we did in February, it helped them and it helped us, and we touched on that a little bit too. So they seem very appreciative and very positive. So I'm looking forward to some good things going on up there at the Banquet Center and Aaron and Moses Restaurant. So that's all. I just want to make that report.
Awesome, thank you. And no more reports, I'm guessing?
That's it.
All right, excellent. So that brings us to legislation. All right, here we go. Ordinance 14, 2024.
An ordinance accepting the right-of-way and sidewalk donation for property adjacent to State Route 82 resulting from the lot split at 2644 East Aurora Road.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 14, 2024. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Walker seconds. This ordinance is to accept the right-of-way and sidewalk donation for property on State Route 82. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Ordinance 14, 2024 passes 6-0. Ordinance 15, 2024.
An ordinance establishing a policy regarding standard operating procedures for the implementation of Title II Americans with Disability Act policy for the city of Twinsburg.
Awesome, thank you. Ordinance 15, 2024 now stands on its second reading. All right, we're going to do these separately. You ready for this? All right, here we go. Ordinance,
We need to vote on that one.
we do?
It's on its
Sorry.
second. This is
That
your
was his
third.
third.
Was
Not
on
on there.
that was the third.
Oh,
That's
my bad. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 15, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Yield.
I'll second.
You want to fight over it, gentlemen? Mr. Bonacci seconds. Any discussion?
Yeah, I work in the ADA space professionally, and it's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm very happy that we're doing this. I will absolutely support this.
Awesome, thank you. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Awesome, motion passes 6-0. Okay, ordinance 16, 2024.
An ordinance declaring improvements to certain real property within the city to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit those parcels, exempting such improvements from ad valorem real property taxation, requiring the owner of the improvements to make service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes and minimum service payments, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments in lieu of ad valorem property taxes, all pursuant to revised code sections 5709.40, 5709.42, 5709.43, and declaring an emergency.
Awesome, okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 16, 2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Any further discussion on this? No? All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Ordinance 16, 2024 passes as an emergency, 6-0. We'll move along to ordinance 17, 2024.
An ordinance declaring improvements to certain real property within the city to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit the parcels, exempting such improvements from ad valorem real property taxation, requiring the owner of the improvements to make service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes and minimum service payments, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments in lieu of ad valorem property taxes, all in pursuant to revised code sections 5709.40, 5709.42, 5709.43, and declaring an emergency.
Excellent. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 17, 2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Labby seconds. Again, this is to establish a TIF district for PNF Realty. Any other further discussion? Nope. Shannon, call the roll?
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes?
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Ordinance 17, 2024 passes as an emergency 6-0. Ordinance 18, 2024.
An ordinance declaring improvements to certain real property within the city to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit those parcels, exempting such improvements from ad valorem real property taxation, requiring the owner of the improvements to make service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes and minimum service payments, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property tax, all pursuant to revised code sections 5709.40, 5709.42, 5709.43, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 18, 2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Again, this is to establish a TIF district for Holt Orthodontics. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Ordinance 18, 2024 passes as an emergency 6-0. Second verse, same as the first. Ordinance 19, 2024.
An ordinance declaring improvements to certain real property within the city to be a public purpose, declaring the public improvements to be made to directly benefit those parcels, exempting such improvements from ad valorem real property taxation, requiring the owner of the improvements to make service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes and minimum service payments, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes, all pursuant to revised code sections 5709.40, 5709.42, 5709.43, and declaring an emergency.
Excellent, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 19, 2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bonacci seconds. Again, this is another TIF district for Bright Path. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes?
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Yes, ordinance 19, 2024 passes as an emergency 6-0. That brings us along to ordinance 20, 2024.
An ordinance amending Ordinance 57, 2022 regarding the policy for handling of contracts for capital improvement projects in excess of $50,000.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
It's not an emergency.
It's not an emergency?
Not online.
President, Shannon, you said 57.
I'm sorry.
It's 56.
50,000.
It's ordinance number 56, 2022. So I just wanted to clarify that for the record, Mr. Post.
Did I not say? Oh,
I
she
said it.
said, okay.
She said, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that clarification. And it's not as an emergency?
Not on the sheet that I'm looking at. Is it supposed to be an emergency?
No, it is not.
It is not as an emergency?
Not presented as an emergency, so this will just be passed as a regular measure tonight if council so chooses.
Okay, that sounds perfect, as there's no need for it to be an emergency. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2024. May I have a second, please?
A second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. State threshold is now at 75,000, so we're just getting with the times here on this, and it does include an annual 3% annual increase every year. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024 passes as an emergency, passes 6-0. Excellent. Ordinance 22, 2024.
An ordinance amending Chapter 1197 of the Planning and Zoning Code chapters 1305, 1323, 1325, and 1341 of the Building Code to revise the penalty framework for violations of the city's planning, zoning, and building regulations.
Thank you. This is to amend the code to revise the penalty framework for violations. 2022-2024 now stands on its third reading. We will read this one additional time at the meeting on March 13th, following a public hearing, and we'll vote then. Ordinance 30, 2024.
An ordinance declaring improvements to certain real property within the city to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit those parcels, exempting such improvements from ad valorem real property taxation, requiring the owner of the improvements to make service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes and minimum service payments, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposit of such service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes, all pursuant to revised code sections 5709.40, 5709.42, 5709.43, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is the notice, again, same thing for the TIF district for Craft Pack, Independence Parkway. Ordinance 30-2024 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 31-2024.
An ordinance declaring improvements to certain real property within the city to be a public purpose, describing the public improvements to be made to directly benefit those parcels, exempting such improvements from ad valorem real property taxation, requiring the owner of the improvements to make service payments in lieu of ad valorem real property taxes and minimum service payments, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for the deposits of such service payments in lieu of ad valorem property taxes, all pursuant to revised code section 5709.40, 5709.42, 5709.43, and declaring an emergency.
Excellent, thank you. This again is another establishment of a TIF district for Rittenhour at Case Parkway South, number 1. Ordinance 31-2024 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 32-2024.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an addendum to the professional service contract for the city prosecutor, Jordan Knapp, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 33-2024 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Walker seconds. The reason for the suspension of the three reading rule is to enter into an agreement as soon as possible. Is there any more discussion on this, on the three reading rule, on the suspension? No. All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
All right, suspension of a three reading rule passes 6-0. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 33-2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I will second.
32.
32-2024, thank you. Good catch, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 32-2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I will second.
All right, Ms. Labby seconds. Again, this is so we can get Prosecutor Knapp started right away. All right, any further discussion? All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
All right, motion passes, oh, that's on the, passes 6-0. Okay. All right, Resolution 33-2024.
A resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant from the state of Ohio administered through the Office of Criminal Justice Services and declaring an emergency.
All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Resolution 33-2024 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Any discussion on the suspension? Nope. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
All right, suspension of the three reading rule passes 6-0. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 33-2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Walker seconds. Any discussion? All right, Shannon, will you call the roll?
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 6-0. Ordinance 34-2024.
An ordinance amending the current year appropriations for the various special revenue accounts as established in Ordinance 114-2023, the appropriation ordinance for the city of Twinsburg for the year 2024, and declaring an emergency.
All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 34-2024 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Labby seconds. All right, the reason for the suspension is so we can appropriate the money and purchase those body cams right away. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
All right, suspension of the three reading rule passes 6-0. So now I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 34-2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
We'll give this one to Mr. Bellin this time here. All right, and again, it is $12,144, but we will get that money once the grant money is received. We will get that back. All right, Shannon, if you call the roll, please.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 6-0. Resolution 35, 2024.
A resolution accepting the bid of Matt Winters Excavating LLC for the East Idlewood pedestrian bridge replacement and declaring an emergency.
All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Resolution 35, 2024 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Nice. Mr. Barr. Mr. Barr seconds. Any further discussion on the suspension? All right, Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rule passes 6-0. I'd like to make a motion now to adopt Resolution 35, 2024 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I'll second again.
I like that. Mr. Barr seconds again. The cost of this project is $298,249 for the pedestrian bridge at East Idlewood. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 6-0. Which brings us to unfinished business, new business, miscellaneous. Let's go the other way this time. We will start down at the end with Mr. Bellin, and we will just wrap right down.
Thank you. I would just like to wish Ms. Walker a belated happy birthday
Well, thank you.
last week. I will not sing, but I just want to wish you a happy birthday. Mrs. Collins, well done tonight. That the TIF language in there I know is a tongue twister, so well done. Mr. Post, well done tonight, sir.
Thank you.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Labby.
Just another congratulations to Chief Basso. I missed the first swearing in that was during the day, so very happy to see him sworn in tonight. Congratulations again. That's it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'd like to bring up that the Rotary is selling your flags again. If you have not signed up and would like to sign up, go to twinsburgflags.com. If you've not done it yet, get on it. You'll get 5 flags put in your yard during Memorial Day, Flag Day, Independence Day, Patriots Day, and Veterans Day. Again, twinsburgflags.com. You must receive it by Sunday, April 30th. So get that in. That is all I have.
I just want to comment on the flags.
Yes.
I bought a set for my daughter and a couple other people on the street, and they absolutely loved it. I mean, it just lit up the street. So I'm going to get about maybe 6 to 8 people again.
Wow.
To do the flags. I love them. If I love them, they're going to have to love them too.
Have to. They're going to have to.
They're going to have to.
They're going to have to.
I mean, this is Daisy.
What's not to love? What is not to love?
That's all I have.
That's all you have. Excellent. Mr. Bonacci.
This past weekend, I went to this pancake breakfast at the high school that was a fundraiser for the PTA and a business expo for the Chamber of Commerce. It was an awesome event. The volunteers that were there making the pancakes and cleaning up the tables, great. The music that the high school band and the middle school band put together, amazing. That electric orchestra, music to my ears. It was a great event. There's a lot of businesses there. The Goodwill was there, and it's fascinating. We could donate stuff, right? We could avoid the landfill, and then Goodwill's able to sell that merchandise and turn it into vocational and job search training, putting folks to work. You know, it's nice that we have that retail store. It's nice folks could buy affordable things. It's amazing when your donations could do good multiple times. That's the end of my report.
Mr. Bonacci. Mr. Barr.
Thank you. A couple quickies. Again, big shout out to Chief Basso. We're very fortunate to have him, and he was doing a great job as the interim chief, and he is well-deserved promotion. So congratulations to the administration and Chief Basso on that. Also, for those watching at home, and I include myself in this, I had to look up what an ad valorem tax was. Just in case anybody was wondering, since we've heard it so many times this evening, it is a tax derived from an assessed value, such as the value of real estate or personal property. So that's what that Latin means. Thank you to our law director for working that into 6 things tonight. Thank you. Congratulations.
Hey, it was well worth it for the money coming in.
Absolutely. No, these are all good things, but I did
aim to please.
That's what ad valorem means. So that's it for my public service announcement this evening. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thanks for explaining that to me. No.
You just read the sheet that Mr. Vasana wrote out for you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Anything from the far table?
Both got it from Google.
I have nothing further tonight, thank you.
Nothing further, since I'm in the seat, Mr. Van Zanna, is there anything
Thank you.
you'd like to do? Like to say?
Mr. Van Zanna here. I would like to echo what we've heard a few times. Congratulations to Chief Basso. I thought it was great to see everyone here tonight celebrating his second swearing in as chief here. Happy belated birthday, Ms. Walker.
Thank you.
And at that, I have nothing else to add other than I wanted to thank council for supporting the addendum for our prosecutor to expand his role a little bit within the city's team. So thank you.
Give you some breathing room.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything over there from finance or from?
I would just like to say congratulations to Steve on his second official appointment. I have had the pleasure of working with him as a new department head, probably more closely than others. He has had some training courses with finance and things that, he wasn't privy to as the assistant chief, so it's been a good learning experience for him, and it's been a good teaching experience for me, because the only way that you can really explain something to someone is by trying to teach them. So it's been a good experience working with him.
Great. Anything, Shannon, anything from you?
Just congratulations to Chief Basso. Also known him more years than I want to count. But congratulations to Steve. Happy belated to Mrs. Walker. And just for a slight clarification on Mr. Post's comment, you do not get 5 flags. You will get 1 flag 5 times.
That is valid. But 1 times 5 is 5.
Not all at the same time, just for the record.
All right, that's good clarification, thank you. So next I just want to excuse Mr. Fury from tonight's meeting. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Fury. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Shannon, call the roll.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 6-0 to excuse Mr. Fury. And at this time, at 8:35, I'd like to adjourn the city council meeting.